Hello, everyone, and well, hello from Northern Italy. And the final round of the OLMS. 5 drivers in the LMP2 class could leave as champion tonight. Plus, there is a tasty 8-car battle for second in the LMGT3 class. So let's just jump straight into this. But first, I'm joined, as always, by Ben Meyer. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm good. Pleasure to be back. One last run into the breach, as it were, for these guys in the LMP in the OLMS. So it's looking forward to seeing what they can do out on track. To be honest, and find someone who is actually on track would be nice for the footage. But yeah,
Yeah, so
big. Still plenty to fight for in the LMP2s, and we've been informed by Johnny Ashley that. If he finishes last in the championship tonight, he's nuking the entire oNiD community. So should probably keep an eye on that as well.
yeah, no, I think we should. Do we have any like nuke prevention in place?
No, we're basically screwed.
Okay, well, it's been nice knowing you.
Three DNFs out of the last 4 races as well. He really wants to finish tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a tricky circuit here at Imola, though. It's not going to be easy. Those curves we just saw back there, there's definitely some bits that can catch you out when you feel like you're having a good race. So, for the hope of us all, let's hope he does finish.
Yeah, I've got a feeling the GT3s are probably going to be a little more confident through those curved sections. They can handle a bit more punishment across. The LMP2s get very sketchy over high curves. And Imola's got a couple of them, especially that chicane at the end of the just after Acqua Minerale. But we are on board. We've got guys going out on the times are straight in. Alfie Bevan straight up into P1 here with a 1:35.3. Got a feel he can only improve. He's only going to improve from there. James Cowley right behind him. These two are right up there for P1 and 2 in the championship, about 19 points between them. So it's big fights to be had this evening. I think we might have lost Tom slightly, because there's nothing coming through his microphone. But we shall persevere anyway. Alfie pushing on here. James puts in a great time, 1:34.5 as he crosses the line in that oNiD liveried LMP2. Pushing down into turn 1 now, and it's definitely, but it's straight away Jacob Hein with a 1:34.3. And the times are dropping quickly here. And it's all changed again. These guys are clearly going around the same place on the track. They're all in private qualifying sessions. But Alfie Bevan with a 1:33.3 there puts himself back onto pole position. And that's a very big time. Nearly a second clear of Jacob Hein in P2. In the meantime, if I click on the right things, down in the GTs, Chris Downing continues his late charge for the top end of the championship with another, by putting it into that pole position ahead of Christian Kiesig. Okay, and we've definitely lost Tom at the moment, but we shall crack on. Downing pushing on up the hill. And that's number 32 McLaren gets to that sharp, fast left-hander. Doesn't want to run it too wide. That will invalidate a lap. But he's holding on by the skin of his teeth there. Oh, I tell a lie. Ben Brown straight in the oNiD in the green rail stuff Mercedes goes in with a 1:45.2. That's about a 13-second difference between these cars around the track, and it's still all changing up in the LMP2s as Jacob Hein goes into P1, gets himself in there with a 1:32.9. That was a mighty lap, and then Alfie Bevan's immediately come in, smashed it for a 1:32.7. It is dropping all the time here. Tom, do you live? Maybe not. We will crack on. But this is a very quick lap for these guys, and there's going to be a lot of dealing with lap traffic as these guys come round this evening. Alfie comes out of the hairpin, pushes on up the hill. We'll jump on the bonnet cam just to give you an idea of the narrowness of this track. Drop down towards Aqua Minerale. Hard braking zone. This, a little lock up from Alfie there. But up through the right-hander and down towards the chicane. This is going to be a pinch point on lap 1. The LMP2 car banging over those curves neatly through the corner as he charges down towards the Tozers. Comes around those 2 left-handers. Very good overtaking spots. If you can get the nose on the inside, it will give you a fight all the way down the long not straight towards turn 1. Comes across the line, puts himself 7 tenths clear there. It is a proper fight. Oh, we have a Tom.
Hello. I mean, who knew grabbing? Oh, he's off the road. Anyway, who knew grabbing a laptop would cause so many tech issues? Yeah, no, I'm back with you. So as you can see, yeah, Bevan's leading the way, so that's what he needs to do for the championship. From what I've worked out, say if Cowley was to be leading, the lowest position that Alfie can be in is 4th. So basically, he needs to just be inside top 4 in this qualifying session. So he's doing everything he needs to there. Ben Brown having a good bounce back, as we mentioned, after a double DNF, is currently leading the way in the LMGT3 class, 1 minute 44. Kiesig then just pops up into 3rd as well. That about just over 4 tenths back from Brown so far in this session. So doesn't look to be as quick as he has been at other events, Kiesig, in this race, but obviously still a long way to go, and we know how his strategy works as well, so he can come back into this when he probably field saves till the end. So when we look at the rest of the order, we see Alfie still leads the way in the MP2s, Hein in 2nd, Angela Scott's one of the MP2 runners that could take the title, but currently sits down in 5th, so that's not going to be any help for them. And yeah, I believe the next runner, or the kind of the most likely the 3rd most likely runner, 4th most likely runner in the LMP2 class, Dan Tomlinson, isn't actually inside the top 5 at the moment. So as things are going, Ben, it looks like Alfie Bevans is heading towards the title. But I mean, obviously, we haven't even got to race start yet.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Alfie this season is it has been he either finishes well or he doesn't finish at all. So it's one of those options will hand him the title, the other definitely won't. And, in terms of Kiesig, he can pretty much finish wherever he wants. He has got an insurmountable lead in the GT3s, but that fight for 2nd place is definitely going to heat up. Ben Brown was lamenting before the race the fact that he DNF'd last week in the double points showdown at Spa that really has cost him positions in the championship. It was 6 points going in, and now he's down in P5 and a long way off.
Yeah, well, 30 points off in P5 now from the top. Actually, no, I think that I worked that out from Chris Downing. So that's if he were to finish 2nd in the standings. So he's doing a good job at trying to move his way at least up the order to finish the championship strong. But it just seems those last 2 rounds really have seemed to total his whole season.
As indeed, Angela Scotti makes the move there, goes up to P3. Both of them, both her and Cowley, pretty much neck and neck there, but a good 6 tenths off Alfie Bevan in P1.
Yeah, well, for a moment there as well, before Silver pops into 3rd, it was actually championship order, Bevan, Cowley, Scotti, but obviously, yeah, Silver coming along to ruin the party to just slot in there. And actually, all of them only a couple of thousandths away from each other, all within that 6 tenths bracket, that whole top 5. So, a lot of... Well, it's close if your name isn't Alfie Bevan.
Let's have... Since I've got all these options to play with, let's have a look and see just how tight the top of that LMP2 field is. So that's the top 6 all covered by less than a second. And
yeah, I mean, it just shows how close it is.
Yeah, and 2nd to 6 covered by 2 tenths. That is incredibly close and consistent from a lot of these guys.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously for this class, we do know it's a lot about consistency. They have had now 6 rounds to get used to these cars, but we obviously have seen there's been a lot of kind of incidences with people locking up, ending up in the wall, ending up on the roof, ending up I don't know what is. These cars have proven to be really tricky to drive, and I think as we were speaking about before the stream as well, been a lot of drivers that have had good pace in this car this season, but haven't necessarily made it to the finish line. So it's one thing to drive this car quickly, it's another thing to get it to the finish.
It is indeed. Speaking of tight margins, Ben Brown and Christian Kiesig for P1 and 2 in the LMGT3s. 4 thousandths of a second between them.
Oh, wow. I mean, let's see if Ben can increase that out. But yeah, no, that is so close in the class. And also Townsend only 0.186 off as well. It's properly close in the LMGT3s, as Ben Brown will come up towards the start-finish line to complete another lap around this Imola circuit. Let's see, is that an improvement? No, it doesn't look to be. I think the line...
No, nothing.
Yeah, no.
No improvement yet. So it's incredibly close. The question is Kiesig improving? And even better, I can pull up information because
Yeah, so was well quite far down in the first sector by the looks of it, 1.2 seconds off of their best. It is a purple middle sector, but I mean it's going to have to be something phenomenal from the third sector to try and take pole away, because well that's going to be nearly impossible to claim back. Obviously a very poor first sector, but I mean it gives Kiesig some hope heading into their final lap. Only now 50 seconds to go about in this session, so this will be Kiesig's last time around once they do cross the start-finish line again. And there they go across now. Purple. So Kiesig, oh, purple. So that is promising.
Yeah, and Ben Brown's gone to the pits. He's finished for the qualifying session. So it's all on Kiesig here. I think Alfie Bevan and Zach Silver are still on track.
Obviously, also there's been some change inside that top 5 of the LMP2 class. Silver now up to 2nd, with Angelo Scotti and Cowley changing around as well, now 3rd and 4th. So Cowley now at the back of the championship runners inside that top 5, and all Kiesig purple in the first sector.
Oh, this has got to be a very, very good lap. But that's very, very tight. 400ths there. Pushing onwards. Keeps it in the track limits.
I suppose that's the thing, because you know you're on a good lap now, and then you have the pressure of trying to keep it up now for the rest of the lap, because obviously Kiesig does have the confidence to go, well, I did it last lap, so surely I can do it again this lap. I set purple, but no, look, as you can see, the yellow in the middle sector, about a tenth slower than they were on their very best laps. So it's not the end of the world, though. They can easily claim that back coming into this final sector.
Yeah, if you can pull it back through it. But the third sector is relatively short compared to the rest. It really doesn't take very long at all, and it's mostly composed of these 2 straights, or at least the 2 long high speed zones down towards and coming out of the Tozers.
So here comes Christian Kiesig up towards the start-finish line, and it's pole position. Wanted 44.101. He's stolen it away by 24 thousandths from Ben Brown. A great lap time from Christian Kiesig to take pole position. That will be their 5th and final of this season. We've had now 5 different pole sitters in each class, but yeah, phenomenal pole there as we come to round 1. Alfie Bevans as well, another pole for him. That's, I believe, is his 4th of the season.
Yeah.
3rd row, Angela Scott in 4th, Jacob Hine in 4th, actually, Angela Scott in 3rd, James Cowley 2nd in the championship, 5th, not where he wanted to be, Edusa Carpenter 6th in the LMP2 class. Row 4, Leon Visperas will start in 7th, 8th goes the way of Charlie Morgan. On to row 5 now, Daniel Tomlinson, outsider in the championship, starts 9th, 10th is Manny Steiner. Then on to row 6, we have Dan Steffens, and 12th is Frank Vebic.
You're about to get a surprise.
Row 7 is Alex J. Wood, and then
Maybe
Christian Kiesig in 14th and on pole for the LMGT3 class. Then second is Ben Brown in 15th. 16th is Mac Townsend, third in the LMGT3 class. Fourth in the LMGT3 class, Elvin Blomqvist. Fifth is Chris Downing, last time's out winner at Spa. Sixth is Johnny Ashley in the LMGT3 class, and seventh is Daniel Johansson. Row 11 is 8th, goes the way of John Metcalf, and Tyler Hammer is 9th in his Ferrari. John, obviously a winner this season. Row 12 is 10th is Max Farrell, and 11th is Christopher Bell. Then in 12th is Elliot Lewis, and Petty Yanek is 26th. Then in 14th is Andy Hearn, and 15th in the classes Nazarian. And then rounding out the order is Matthias Fusgun and Christian Schlink in 29th and 30th. On row 16, you have Dean Smith and then Don Hunter, who did not set a lap time in the session, I don't believe. And then I believe the rest of these are people that also haven't set a time.
Yeah, we actually have a slight change.
What's happened?
Very slow, and the results didn't catch it because it came through at the very last second. Elvin Blomqvist actually came through to take the pole position for the GT3s at the very last second.
So that does make it actually 6 different pole sitters from each class over this season. So, yeah, so that's 6 different pole sitters from each class of the season. Christian Kiesig, if we have the Wingfoot Award, would be our best pole driver because they've had 5 pole positions this season, and they will be followed actually by Alfie Bevans, who now have 4 pole positions for the season. So not only the class of the field in the races, as they both lead their championships and one has claimed their championship, but also have been very quick in qualifying. So, well, now for Alfie Bevan, it really is, he just needs to bring it to the end of the race and try to stay where he is and try not to finish any lower than fourth position to depending if Cowley finishes in first. So we'll see what happens when these cars come up towards the lights to get underway with the final round of the season. And what a season it's been. Some phenomenal racing, some phenomenal crashes, and, well, let's hope for the same for the final time this season. They'll come up towards the start-finish line, and we'll go for an hour and 5 minutes of racing. And Hunter has caught, Silva, has caught Bevan off on the start and has closed the door. So Zach Silva into the lead of the race, and Alfie is under pressure from Jacob Hine as well. Hine to the outside, and it will be the inside. Actually, Silva's off the road. Silva's back on the circuit, and I think he's avoided everyone. So that's actually given the lead back the way of Alfie Bevan. We do have some yellow flags going on. It's Hine and Scotty make up the top 3, with 5th is James Cowley, 6th is Dan Tomlinson. So Alfie's doing all he needs to do for this championship. And car off in the background, that's Townsend in the middle of the pack. He's connected, that's a big one. He's connected one of the Aston Martins. I think that's Petty Jelinek. Someone's missing the rear wing, and there's Matt Townsend backwards in the middle of the corner. There's someone's rear wing, and
no, but we have got a few cars walking rooted. That looks like it's an oNiD car. Let's see if we can track down who that is.
Is it Max Farrell? Maybe I recognise the colour. No, it's not Max Farrell. It's the sister car then, because I'm pretty sure they're running the same oNiD livery. Let's have a look. Who's down the order? Townsend, Downing, Kiesig. There's Townsend. John Metcalf. So yeah, one of our winners this season came into this round 3rd in the LMGT3 championship. So this could have big ramifications for that class. Daniel Johansson is 4th in that class. Where's Daniel in the field at the moment? He doesn't look too high.
P7.
But P7. So he's about 9 points off of. He was about 9 points off of John Metcalf in that championship. Ben Brown as well, obviously really far up the order in this class as well, was about 22 points back from John Metcalf in the championship as well. So I'll give myself some time to work that out, but that's going to have big ramifications for the final podium spots in the LMGT3 class. So that's, good news for Ben Brown. Obviously, as I said, trying to make his way back up through the order in the LMGT3 class after a poor 2 last rounds. Zach Silver, after that brief excursion off the circuit, still doing well, holding down third in the LMGT3 class, so he's doing well. Thank you, Matt Holman, for your tier 1 subscription. Subscribed for 41 months now. Well, that is a long time. As we follow Zach Silver, he's about 2.9 seconds now, 3 seconds off the back of this leading bow. It seems like Alfie just has the pace on the rest of these guys and is stretching his legs away up the road. And actually, it looks like the person under the most pressure is Angela Scott from James Cowley at the moment. Both of them in the fight for the championship. This is second in the championship is Cowley, third in the championship is Angela Scotty. So let's see if Scotty is able to defend from James Cowley, and Tomlinson is also in fourth in the championship as well, sitting down in sixth, but looks under pressure from Medusa Carpenter, who's spun in the background. Medusa's got a sideways there, coming into the final section of the circuit. It's spun to the inside of the corner. It's really awkward. They're going to want to turn around, but it's right on the racing line. They've done it actually very well there, found a nice little gap to get back on the circuit, and have ended up in fourth after that spin through turn 17. And Dusa will carry on in this race, actually probably with minimal damage as well. So that's a good recovery there from Dusa.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if we've got any replays we can go to. Let's have a look and see what happened to John Metcalf on that first lap while we have a brief moment. If it shows us.
No, here he is. So there's, you can see Tyler Hammer. I think that's Johansson in the United Autosports McLaren colours, and he's just he kind of got stuck in a sandwich because he was stuck behind Max Farrell and then just got kind of the rest of the field's impact behind him. Dean Smith off the road, he missed as well on the inside there of turn 6. But yeah, John Metcalf is continuing, but down in 30th overall in this race now. Is going to be quite far. Well, it's going to be basically at the back of the NMGT3 order as well, so not good for them.
He has repaired. He hasn't actually. He's about a minute behind, so he hasn't lost a massive amount of time. Considering he's done a wing change, he's got back on track fairly quickly.
And also considering he had to get around the circuit without that rear wing as well. It's quite effective.
Jacob Hine up in P2, one of our admins, one of the AC crew. He is just about holding off Zach Silver here as they charge down towards turn 1.
Yeah, these two are kind of broken away from Angela Scotty now, who's just about 2.5 seconds back from these two battling. Obviously, they were under a little bit more pressure from James Cowley, so it allows these two to get away and start their own fight. But actually, Silver through that section of the circuit has fallen back a little bit. 6 tenths is about the gap between them, as it looks like now actually Silver's closing in again as another yellow flag's come out, and I think it's for Vevik, who's dropping like a rock through the order, down at 27th overall now. So this is coming out of turn 13 up towards Rante Alta. Let's see what's happened. Oh, it's going to be a curve, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a hit.
I mean, lucky to still have that rear right-hand side tyre there, because I mean that went into the wall and spun back onto the racing line. Luckily, whoever that was avoids Frank Vevik, but they rejoin the circuit, and yeah, as you can see, there is some severe rear-end damage / suspension damage to that car.
I felt bad for not cutting away sooner than I've got to admit. But this fight for P2 definitely heating up, and Zach is going to have the slipstream all the way down to turn 1 here.
Yeah, so this could be his opportunity now, as he's going to tuck right in behind Jacob Hine. They'll go down the not so straight through turn 1, which isn't really much of a turn anyway, up towards 2, 3 and 4 now into Tamburello. Let's see what happens. It's actually not close enough that time, so he's going to stay behind, follow him through this section of the circuit. As you can see, Alfie's still leading the way at the front of the field, and now as they come into the braking zone for turns 5 and 6 through Villeneuve, they're still stuck right close together, but this is kind of the part of the circuit. It's a little bit awkward, a little bit tighter. It's going to be harder for Zach Silver to find somewhere to get through. Gets a really good run though out of Tosa there. So as they now make their way up towards turn 9, let's see what happens. There was a brief look to the inside. He thought about it, Zach Silver, but no, not yet. He's going to have to wait his time. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer. A little bit dust kicked up. I think Alfie's off the road. He is. Alfie Bevins is off the road. That's brought this gap down to 4:10.
He was, yeah. I thought, sorry, I got a yellow flag for Charlie Morgan, but no, it was actually Alfie having a moment.
Yeah, and that's going to, well, dirtied his tyres up a little bit, and it has obviously still affected his pace a little bit as the gap is still kind of, it's actually kind of stabilised, to be honest, between Jacob Hine and Zach Silver to Alfie. Alfie's going to have to now try and push on, but we didn't really see what happened there. I assume he's just been caught out by a brief snap of oversteer potentially, and he's had to save it off the circuit.
Right. Let's pull it back a bit. Let's see if we can figure it out.
Is he broke on the? He hasn't broke on the grass, so he's got through the corner, and he's it's just
a bit too
wide.
much speed. Absolutely innocuous off, but it cost him so much time there.
Yeah, and I was a bit worried about if you'd be under any threat from the slipstream coming down that start-finish not so straight, but he's been all right. The gap's still around 5 to 6 tenths, but he does look like he's right. He's around on the racing line. They're going to have to avoid him. Zach Silver to the race lead. He gets around the outside of Jacob Hine, I think. There goes Angela Scott. Here comes James Cowley. This is important for the championship. Will the two championship protagonists get past the championship leader? Only one has. Angela Scott up to third. Cowley's not done with this move yet, though, as they make their way up towards turn 9. Is Cowley going to look to the inside? No. Is Alfie going to be able to keep it on the racing line this time? He has. So as we make it through this part of the circuit, Angela Scott has got ahead of their two championship rivals in Alfie Bevan and James Cowley. What they need to happen now is for Cowley and Bevan to drop further down the order. But yeah, Alfie really looking uncomfortable. Again, a massive snap of oversteer. And it's going to put him under pressure again from James Cowley as they make their way down towards the final couple of corners. They're going to go through turn 16 now. And it looks like he's going to be all right. But really, I don't know what's happened here, Ben. He's struggling.
I think he's over pushing. I think he got the dirt on his tyres. The other guy's close to to get close to him. So he started pushing to try and build the gap again. And now he's had the spin. That will have caused a massive flat spot on those tyres. It will feel horrendous. And it will affect the handling of the car.
So, as it stands, because Angela's ahead in third, it would mean that Alfie Bevins would have to finish 10th for Angela Scott to win the title, and they'd also need to outscore James Cowley by 4 points in the championship. So obviously, championship-wise, even though Alfie has squandered the race lead at the moment, he's not under any sort of championship pressure by the looks of things. He still has second in the championship, just about behind him in James Cowley, and Angela Scott is not outscoring Alfie Bevins by enough to take the LMP2 title as things currently stand on with still about under 55 minutes now to go in this session, and still the LMGT3 class to start lapping.
Speaking of the LMGT3 class, Elvin Blomqvist it's a Merc battle at the front. They had a horrible Monza and now they're making up for it at Imola. They've got to have a look at one Italian circuit at least. But Ben Brown is right behind Elvin Blomqvist here.
And you caught me swallowing water.
Every time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Elvin's still leading the way. Obviously, it was kind of a late charge to pole for Elvin, but he's done a good job. He's really been stable in this race lead. Brem's not really put him under too much pressure, and obviously because of all the shenanigans that happened on lap 1 through this part of the circuit we're coming into now, it's kind of allowed these two to just kind of get away and not have to worry too much. So Elvin actually, I think he's one of the real outsiders for second in the championship. He's about 44 points back from Chris Downing in the LMGT3 class, so he'd need a lot of bad things to happen to everyone else who's running up ahead of him, but still a strong finish for them at the end of this season. Also considering that only 3 points ahead of them is Tyler Hammer, only a further 6 points ahead is Petty Jelinek as well, and only a further 8. Actually, no, only a further 12 ahead is Max Fowl. So it will help them in their final championships charge up the championship standings. So they're doing a good job at the moment. Ben is really putting them under a lot of pressure now.
Yeah, I think these guys aren't thinking beyond the win tonight, to be honest. I think it's, right, nothing else to lose, let's go for it.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to agree. It is, if you're not going for the overall championship win, you might as well go for the race win. So that is definitely what these two are doing. You can definitely tell they're both pushing. And oh, whoa, there's a car around in the background. Who was that? Was that James Cowley?
That was James Cowley.
Oh, that's going to be big for the
first.
Championship.
As pointed out, though, Zach Silver now in the lead. That's a massive crowd of LMGT3s they've just found, isn't it?
Yeah, and...
yeah. Gets into it with a Mercedes there and has to...
And that's Charlie Morgan.
Yeah, who I imagine has just said something very rude in the direction of James Cowley there.
Yeah, actually no, it would not have been Morgan, it would have been Dan Tomlinson. So that's actually Daniel Tomlinson now ahead of James Cowley. So that's another championship rival ahead of Cowley at the moment, out of the top 4 that realistically can go for the title. As Zach Silver, as you mentioned, in the race lead about 1.5 seconds. So this traffic has suited him well. In the background, it's Alfie Bevins to the inside of Jacob Hine. He's thought about it into Tosa, but he's not close enough this time around. Obviously worth mentioning as well that Bevan has got themselves up ahead of Angela Scotti as well, so that's good for Bevan in the championship again, back ahead of the championship rivals. But obviously it's going to be tricky for them to keep ahead because this traffic around this such a tight circuit is really playing havoc.
It absolutely is, and these guys are having to push very hard. And it's letting Zach Silver break away. He's got 2 seconds to the good up in front of Jacob here.
Yeah, but I mean, it really depends where Zach then meets the traffic himself, because obviously it's all going his way at the moment. It's all being dandy. He's like, oh, I'll overtake them here, I'll overtake them there, because he's finding the cars in the right spot. There will be a time, though, where Zach comes across a car that they can't overtake, and then it will close the gap right back down. So it's really, there's going to be such a yo-yo effect, even though a 2-second gap may be massive to us now. If he just comes across a car in the wrong part of the circuit, we're going to be right back in for a battle for the top of the class lead. So Alfie about now a second back from Hine, whereas he was just overtaking him, looking like he was about to overtake him a few seconds ago. It's a second gap between Alfie and Scotty at the moment, and Tomlinson are now a further 6 seconds back with Cowley, and another then 8 seconds back down the order. So it's James Cowley, this is not looking good for their championship. These opening laps haven't really gone their way.
No, not at all, and they are. To be honest, it's come down to that double points round last week, which was Cowley's dropped result. And that let Alfie take the lead, and now he's in a position where he can play it relatively safe. That said, he's still right behind Jacob Hine and wants P2. And they're catching Zach Silver. Oh, that's Frank Vevik.
Vevik off the road on the inside of Akron there through the turn 12 part of that section of the circuit. It's looking like under pressure more is now Jacob Hine, because actually the gap coming down to Silver as well, 1.3 seconds. Look, as I said, Silver's caught the 2 LMGT3 leaders in the wrong part of the circuit, which has brought that gap down substantially to the race leader, but it will probably open up again once Alfie gets onto the rear of Jacob Hine, who's going to be held up onto the straight here by Ben Brown. So here we come. Alfie Bevins gets a much better run there out of Ravazza out of turn 18, and he's nearly pushing Jacob Hine down this start-finish straight. Let's see where he goes. He's going to go into the inside, which is going to turn into the outside for this brief turn 1 part of the circuit. He's going to have the outside into the first part of Tamburello, but then into turn 3 he'll have the inside, and he's got it done.
Well raced. Amazing. These two. It would have been so easy to come together there. Jacob looking to come back there, but backs out of it down into the second chicane here, which I can never remember the name of. But yeah, these two, it would have been so easy for these two to come together there, and they gave each other just enough space while passing GT3s. Not bad, you've got to say.
No, not at all. Very respectful by the pair of them.
It
And
has cost them though. They have
yes.
dropped nearly 2 seconds to Zach Silver there.
Well, actually, Silver coming back. I think Alfie's run wide again. And yes, Jack Jiggleheim back through into second position. Alfie off the circuit again through the exit of Minerali. So, what? Alfie's. I don't know what keeps happening, but that's up towards turn 9 through Piratella. It just seems to be catching Alfie out because he's dropped again. And actually, he's nearly back into the grasp of Angela Scott again.
It's all change, and they are pushing onwards. But they've found a little bit of space for each other. But if we go back to Alfie, he is very much. He's put a bit of muck on his tyres, and now Scotty is closing in for the attack.
Yeah,
I get the feeling there's not an awful lot of fuel saving going on this evening.
No, I feel like it's just push. As a yellow flag comes out, but it's obviously not for any of these guys at the moment. So that was good. I was about to say to you as well before Alfie went off again, it seemed like he'd refound his rhythm a bit. He looked a bit more comfortable as Dan Tomlinson and James Cowley side by side. Phenomenal move by, I think that was Cowley around the outside. A little bit of touching between the pair of them. But I think Cowley just found the part of the circuit where he could squeeze that Orica past. And, well, there you go, up into 5th place. Phenomenal.
Great move. It's one you can get done. It takes a bit of guts to go around the outside there. It looks so much tighter from the car than it does in the on the cameras here. It looks like they've got 3 or 4 cars worth of width on these long camera shots. When you're inside, it feels like those walls are very, very close. Oh, Dan with a bit of a lunge there.
Yeah, you can tell he was eager to come back at James Cowley, but just couldn't. Just overcooked it into there and locked up the front tyres. So that puts a little bit of pressure off of James Cowley now, who can try to close the gap back down to Angela Scott. But it's a big gap to try and close now. It's about 8 seconds, I guess, probably more towards not. Actually, more towards 9. Nearly now, as we come back to Alfie, who again is finding themselves under a little bit of pressure from Angela Scott at the moment, more so than attacking Jake Pine, at least as they go into turns 2 and 3 again, but not really under any sort of threat of an overtake happening as things currently stand, as they again come into this tighter, more twisty part of the circuit.
We do have some guys in a fight that. Oh, no, that's Alex Wood coming in for a pit stop there. That's fairly early. He's either very much got his fuel calculation dead on, or he's dealing with damage.
Yeah, here he comes. All right, that looks like a bit of damage to the front end. Yeah.
There is a fight brewing in the GT3s for P7. Tyler Hammer in his changed again. The DuPont Ferrari holding off Elliot Lewis, with Petty-Yannick closing in behind them. Tyler's not had the best of luck this season for being our LMU guru, but he's definitely trying to hold off.
I was going to say, I think these two are pretty close in the championship. I haven't got my sheet of paper in front of me, but I'm sure Elliot Lewis is 10th in the championship. Tyler Hammer himself in 8th in the LMGT3 championship. So these two probably have found themselves on circuit in the similar area throughout this season. So this should be a little tasty battle when they start getting closer together. And I also believe that's Petty-Yannick just behind them as well.
It is, yeah. And he's closing in at a rate of knots. He's brought that gap down from about a second to half a second within the space of a few corners. Just having a quick look through. The only person to have completed a pit, well, 2 people who completed pit stops, Alex Wood, we just saw coming in, and John Metcalf, who we saw losing that wing early on. We have had a retirement. Max Farrell has DNF by the looks of it. We can take a quick look at that.
And also we've lost Vivek as well, which I don't think we've seen yet. Oh.
Well, that looks
he's already missing his rear wing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, front engine car, and that's a lot. Ooh. That's a very big hit.
Do you think he'd realised he'd lost it?
I don't think he did there. Just the speed he
No.
was carrying into
Well,
that corner.
and the thing is as well, it didn't. The car itself, like from the front, looking at it from the front, it didn't actually look that damaged either. So they may have just thought they still had it.
Ah, oh, right. I think. Right, something's going wrong with my time here because it just told me that Ben Brown has got into the lead, and he's. No, he
Yeah.
will be because I haven't turned off the replay yet.
Oh, there we are. So where's Elvin Blomqvist gone?
Let's pop it
He's
back. He's
he's not.
dropped a long way.
Yeah, well, he wasn't even on the first part of the LMGT3 timing screen. We're still rolling back. We're down to 25th overall in the race, and he still hasn't popped up. Considering Ben
Yeah.
Brown's 13th and leading the class,
Yeah,
and he's actually behind.
tried to get a
Yeah.
replay of the overtake. It didn't work. We can, however, hopefully see what happened to Elvin.
Let's
Oh,
see. Oh,
well,
well, he's already missing his rear wing at this point, so that suggests he
yeah.
hasn't. Another NMGT3 car, maybe not realizing they've lost it, and yeah, that's going
Into
to
the
be a rear
wall.
tire gone, I assume. I know. Well, it's all right though.
But that's a rough piece of luck for our pole sitter. He's done a few donuts. That's a long way still of the lap to go to get back. Let's jump on the helmet cams, see how sideways that suspension is.
Oh, there he is. So he's 24th, so he's behind Nazarian in the timing.
That's a very broken car.
Yeah.
So
Does he get caught?
Let's see. Has he made it? He's still going.
No.
He's still trying to get round to the pits.
So I wonder who lost his rear wing. I wonder if Ben ran in the back of him. Well, I don't, because it again, it didn't. The car didn't look too damaged before. I don't know how hard you have to. I mean, well, I was going to say that was the mega save.
Yeah. Are we back on? No, we aren't. We're not on the replay. Hang on. This is live. I thought we were still on replay there. Oh, I'd be moving very slowly at this point, Elvin.
Yeah, don't stay on the throttle. You're just going to be all over the circuit.
With the front engine as well, that rear will just want to step with no grip on it. He's got a drift car at the moment, is what he has.
He does, but oh my god, he is being a little bit of a moving destruction target for everyone.
Yeah, he just needs to get back slowly. Oh god,
that's a big hit.
Yeah,
he's back on the racing line again.
I think that was Zach Silver who just not quite.
So that would have been Dan Steffens then.
Yeah, so they're he's got the entire LMP2 field coming around after him. It's great of him to try and get it back, but at this point there is a lot of risk on track.
He just needs to stop pushing as hard. I know it sounds simpler than it is, but he just needs to stop pushing as hard, because it just seems like he's trying to get to the pits a little bit too quickly, and all that's doing is actually making the whole process a little bit slower. With now 40 minutes to go in the race, here comes Zach Silver through the front.
He's still on. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, it's alright. He's alright. He's on the inside of the corner. Unless they're overtaking, there shouldn't be too much of an issue. And to be fair, actually, I think that's Alfie off the road. It is Alfie Bevins off the road. So Angela Scott actually has Elvin Blomqvist has retired in the end. Oh, Angela Scott now off the road themselves. What's happened here? Alfie was off the circuit through the first part, through turn 17 of Rivazza, then into turn 18. Angela Scott backwards into the wall.
Yeah, let's have a look, see what happened. Some GT3s that. Oh, tangles with a GT3 and goes round.
I was going to say that was Dean Smith, and that's a little bit awkward because that's the second time those two have come together while lapping this season. First time through Stowe at Silverstone round 1, and well, not ideal for Angela's championship, but that has allowed James Cowley back through ahead of them, and it has meant that obviously Alfie Bevins is obviously ahead of all these championship runners yet again after briefly falling behind, as these two, well, that looks quite close again between them as they come up towards Piratella now, and Angela Scott actually has got past now.
I'd say at this point, how much of a wide berth do you give that BMW as you go by it?
I was going to say, I don't know if it's through annoyance she didn't want to give him much room, but then again, it's like, oh god, I don't want to. If they've took you out twice this season, I wouldn't want to be close to them again.
Something eyes in the pits. I was watching, something has happened to Leon Vespers. This looks more of a real. I suspect this is more of a scheduled pit stop. It's about the right time for a 1 hour 5 minute race.
And actually, I don't know if it might be because the number board thing, I don't know what's called, metal bars are in the way. Yeah, no, he was missing his rear wing as well, so obviously that's another car that's had some rear end impact, and it's obviously caused Leon to come into the pits pretty early on, so they're down in 21st overall. This has been a bit of a demolition derby.
It's suddenly gotten a bit chaotic, hasn't it?
It has.
I think perhaps everyone got slightly complacent midway through, and suddenly stuff goes wrong.
I mean, it is a tricky circuit, though. Even, like, we talk about how hard the LMP2s are to drive, but even for the LMGT3s, this is going to be a tough event, because you've got such high curbs around here. Obviously, not much runoff either. It's either, if you're going to run wide, you either onto the grass or the gravel, like we've seen with Alfie so far. So it is a circuit that, it's a traditional racetrack. It's a circuit that does bite back if you get it wrong.
Yeah, zero margin for error as you're going round.
Oh, and also, wait, so Christian Kiesig in third, sorry, I saw a 14th and I was thinking, oh, what's happened there? But no, he's LMGT3, of course.
Yeah. So he is just tracking down Chris Downing ahead of him, just 3 tenths off. They've been fighting for a little while now. Kiesig not quite able to get past, but all of this is giving Ben Brown a bit of time to run away. He is put himself about 5 seconds to the good ahead of these guys now after Elvin had his issues there.
And actually, it's good for Downing's championship, because this would be his second place of the season, and actually should potentially secure him that second in the championship, because the only person ahead of him is Ben Brown, and he's about 32 points behind him in the standings. So for Chris Downing, it's a good. Well, it's looking good for securing that P2 in the LMGT3 class. As we come to James Cowley against Angela Scotti again, then this is for 4th place in this race, as Alfie Bevan's now into 3rd, and Hein and Silver still lead the way, and that looks a little bit awkward. Tyler Hammer slightly getting in the way of James Cowley. That's allowed Angela Scott around the outside of the first part of the chicane into the second part of Villeneuve. Angela's going to hold the inside. They're going to be side by side now as they head towards Tosa. It's going to be James Cowley that holds the inside, potentially maybe a switchback opportunity for Angela Scott if they can get on the traction early enough. And actually it might be, as they're going to look to the inside. They're going to look to the inside. Are they going to be alongside into this corner? They're going to be free wide with Petty Jelinek. Does Jelinek know he's there? Or I think James Cowley just had to get out of that now. Oh my goodness gracious me, there's too much to commentate on. Angela Scott is going to be down the inside of Petty Jelinek, but I think got a bit spooked by the LMGT3's movement there, and that has allowed James Cowley to get 1.8 seconds up the road.
In fairness to Petty, all you're seeing in the rearview mirror there is just light. So you're not, if they're right behind each other, you see one car there, and then it's like, okay, they're coming through, and then there's another one there, and you've got, I know you've got your radar, you've got your time lapse, but even so, it's just information coming at you. You don't always see it straight away. But Cowley running a little wide there.
Yeah, just running a little bit 2 wheels off the seconds ago. What I was going to mention as well, I did think it was a little bit bold for Angela Scotty to try and go 3 wide through that part of the circuit. As we've mentioned before, it's a very tight circuit, and with another two LMGT3 cars running up ahead, it was always, that gap was always going to kind of slowly close up with those cars ahead fighting. So it's actually brought Dan Tomlinson into this battle now, less than a second to Angela Scotty.
I mean, that's the thing. The LMGT3s, they're not there to make up the numbers. They're in their own fight. They're in their own championship. Yeah. We don't expect them to leap out. This is not Formula 1. We don't expect blue flag cars to leap out of the way of LMP2 cars coming through. They can let them by. They should let them by in a sensible manner, because there's the speed difference. But they're not expected to give up on their own battles or on their own fights in order to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Another yellow flag going out there. But that yellow flag, whoever the man in the virtual world that has to click that yellow flag board, he's being kept busy today, isn't he? Because that is coming out a lot. Also, actually, I think the background did Dan Tomlinson just, I think might have slightly locked up again into Akman Orali. so has fallen back. About 1.4 seconds is the gap.
That yellow flag was for Petr Jelinek. I'm not catching all the yellow flags here because there's just a fair few of them coming in. But that's just out the hairpin. Yeah,
they kept out the wall though.
No, but they have kept the rear wing, so that's something at least.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
It's a horrible place to have to rejoin that. Having been someone who spins on occasion, that's a horrible place to have it happen. Yeah,
because it's a bit of a blind corner, isn't it, as well? So they're not when people come around the corner, they're not going to see you until the last second. Yeah. So it is slightly awkward.
That's the replay running out of time. It is, and also the cars are so long now that it takes. You've not got that margin for error on that bit of grass to get them properly turned round. And it feels very, very tight. You're trying to get it round.
I suppose it feels like you're Austin Powers in that hallway. Yeah. You're trying to just like first reverse go. Anyway, here's Jose Nazarian. He's in a little bit of a battle here with Christopher Bell. And Bell actually looks like they're in a place where they can get past Jose Nazarian into turn 1. Let's see what happens. Well, not into turn 1, into turn 2. It always catches me out here. There they go, through turn 1. It's going to go to the outside, is Christopher Bell. That will give them the inside for turn 3.
Confident brakes.
But no, he wasn't. Yeah, well defended there by Jose Nazarian, the best of the late breakers, and was able to close that door shut on Christopher Bell. He's not nearly all 4 onto the grass there. But yeah, at least for another lap, it looks like Christopher Bell is going to have to sit behind Jose Nazarian, unless there's a move on into Tosa here. Going to look to the outside. Nazarian was aware of it, closed the door, and now as they put the power back down coming up the hill, it looks like Nazarian's at least safe for at least this next corner.
Yeah,
and
caught me having a drink that time. Yeah, they are still pushing. He's kind of broken away a little bit there, but it's only a few tenths between them, and that Merc has some serious grunt through these high-speed sections. And he's closing up in a big way. He's going to try it into the chicane. That's very risky.
Especially to the outside. I mean, you can force your way onto the inside for the second part of the chicane, but I mean, this is really not a two-wide corner. Oh, they're going to... Whoa! I thought they were going to try it then, but obviously not, as Christopher Bell takes a bit of a... It was a bit offline through there, so that has opened up the gap a little bit.
Honestly, Chris was quite close, considering the way for Honsep to wander back onto the racing line like that. I know it's the best way through the chicane, but it was a very, very tight margin, that one.
So this surprised me at the front of the field is that obviously Silver and Hine are still pretty comfortably ahead of Alpha at the moment. So 8.3 is the gap. Actually, no, let me come back to this though. Christopher Bell has got a great slipstream again, coming through turn 1. It's going to go to the outside again. Obviously, Nazarian seemed to be the best of the late breakers the first time. They're going to try it again. Bell's just not able to leave it late enough, and actually Nazarian covers the door again on that inside, just places it in that part of the circuit, and Nazarian is pretty wise to Christopher Bell into that part of the circuit now, because he knows as long as he has that Porsche on the inside, he knows he's going to be the best of the late breakers, and he's going to be able to hold on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's and when he does get that exit, it gives him that couple of attempts he needs just to defend away out of the corners. So he's now he's pushed it up to about 4 tenths now. You need to be realistically a couple of tenths to really consider a dive bomb in one of these LMGT3s. You can come from further back, but it's a big risk, especially around here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen that a lot so far today. That you need to be certain in your overtaking to make sure that you are going to get past as another yellow flag comes out. But yeah, still we're doing a great job at the front of the field. It's still 6.5 seconds is his lead. He's been 6 seconds for a while now. He's kept that pretty consistently. And as well, it's about actually the gap just coming inside to 7 seconds now to Alfie. So Alfie obviously turning up the heat a little bit, but he's not looking lightning quick so far. I mean, James Cowley and Scotty and Tomlinson now a lot further off Bevan. So Bevan looking pretty solid to at least claim the LMP2 title as things stand. Still 28 minutes and 43 seconds to go in this session. And actually, James Cowley and Angela Scotty still very close together on the circuit, within a second of one another as they come through nearly to complete another lap. They've just come down towards the first part of Rivazza and then into the final part of Rivazza now through turn 18. And this gap, I mean, even though it's a second between them, it isn't really coming down. It's kind of bouncing between 0.9 and 1.1.
Yeah, I mean, Alfie is pushing hard to try and win here, to try and take that title. He's on for 2 championships in 2 days at the moment, because he's on for the lead of the pro class in the Audi TTs tomorrow night as well. So, and I think the overall championship. So he's definitely looking for a good week this week, is Alfie. But
yeah,
if he's sensible, he can just hold that gap to Cowley, and he's golden. Because neither Sylvan nor Hein are really threatening him championship-wise.
No, well, not at all. I think Kovac was the last person, and while he's not turned up tonight, so then it's actually Tomlinson who's the biggest outsider out the top 4 in the championship now, and he's down in 6th with the other 2. So yeah, it's really Alfie's just doing what he needs to do. And actually, it's surprising how close they've got so quickly, Hein and Alfie. Both of them within about half a second of one another now in the LMP2 class. I think that's the traffic. It's just Hein's been caught out a little bit there. And both of them actually about 6 seconds to Zach Silver now. So actually, Alfie's done a great job of weaving his way through the traffic when he's come across it. And he's going to put Hein under all sorts of pressure now as we come onto the start-finish straight yet again. And he's going to be right in the slipstream here, but at 3 tenths is the gap. It's going to be a bold send if he can get close enough. You can see it is helping him slightly, the slipstream, but not really much at all as he comes towards the 100-meter board, jumps onto the brakes, now turn the car into the left-hander, take the right-hander and then back into the left-hander, and he is right onto the rear of Jacob Hein here. So as we come up towards Villeneuve, is this going to be opportunity maybe to come past? He's on the inside for the first part, but he's going to have to get out of it. Obviously didn't feel he wasn't far enough alongside. So for now, Jacob Hein is going to hold on, but Alfie thinks about going to the inside. He's nearly into the back of Jacob Hein. They're so close together.
Really tight. And it's so unnerving as well when someone behind you is looking every direction to try and find a way past. So it's Jacob is trying to deal with Petty Jelinek in front there, and he's still got Alfie crawling all over his gearbox behind him.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for a move there into Akamunarali, but he's not close enough this time around. They'll make their way out of that part of the circuit under Mr. Michelin, man, and up towards the pair of chicanes here into Varante Alta. And well, they are absolutely glued together at the moment. The gap's a little bit gone up though. 5 tenths, about half a second is what separates them, and Alfie needs to try and close that coming into Rivazza through 17 and 18. He needs to make sure that gap's probably within about 2 tenths to try and make a move up towards turn 1, but as they make their way out of the final section of the corner, it's only 0.45. So as they come onto the start finish straight, I think Alfie's going to be a little bit, well, at least this time around, it's going to be a little bit too far back to make a lunge heading into Tamburello. Let's have a look as they'll come into break. So now, and he is, nowhere near close enough this time, but there's Petty Jelinek and one of the oNiD liveried BMW M4s up ahead. So maybe these LMGT3 cars could be a little bit of a window here for Alfie Bones to come through. He thought about Villeneuve again. You could see it. He was like, I'm gonna have a look. And I think he knows he's quicker than Jacob Hein, and he's just trying to force Jacob into some sort of error like that. He's gonna run deep into Tosa. That's gonna give Alfie an opportunity up the inside, but not the momentum. Importantly, heading up the hill. So now as they make their way up towards Piratella, it's Alfie's still just that little bit too far back to go for a move.
Speculatively, I think Jacob is running less wing than Alfie. He seems to have the legs in the fast sections, but Alfie's braking is with a little bit more aero, is a little bit more confident. He's able to close up in those hard braking zones. But he needs to really be right underneath the P2 car to try and get a move effected.
I mean, these LMGT... Oh, sorry, I was going to say these LMGT3s could be a helping hand in that. BMW M4 hasn't helped nearly. But Heinz sideways. Heinz back on the circuit. Alfie Bones down the inside, but he's nearly into Joey Ashley as they're lapping this side by side through Rivazza. Heinz still around the outside. Heinz made contact with Alfie Bones, and I think that's going to knock his momentum coming into the straight. So it's going to stop Jacob Hein coming back at Alfie Bevins. As you can see, the gap opening up, but actually now the slipstream starting to come into effect. It's about 3 tenths, but no, I'm going to stick by it. I think Alfie's far enough ahead to hold on to second place in this race. And all this fighting is letting Zach Silver get away at the front of the field. 7 seconds is now the gap. And luckily for Alfie Bones there, Tyler Hammer just gets out the way of him. And I think he's just about going to hold on to second.
I'll tell you what, if Alfie had killed Johnny there, his life would not have been worth living. He would have been a dead man walking.
I thought he was. I thought he was just going to clip the rear of him and send him around.
Oh, it was a very good move in the end. It was a very long way back. But Jacob, sandwiched in between those GT3 cars, really had nowhere to go.
I think it was judged to precision. I don't think he could have done any more in that moment to get past Jacob Hine. It was just, he was right on the rail limits there, was Alfie Bones. And yeah, that's what's made him up into second place now, with Zach Silver now 7 seconds up the road, though. Obviously, this traffic hasn't helped these two, but the gap is slowly coming down now. Within that, nearly within 7 seconds there was Alfie for a brief moment. So yeah, I think his sights well and truly will be on Zach Silver. It's just, can he close that gap now with 22 minutes and about 20 seconds now to go in this race?
And all of a sudden, we've got fights starting to pick up all around the circuit. Dan Stevens defending against Charlie Morgan here. Charlie was within a couple of tenths for a second there. Lost it through through Aqua Minerale, but he's trying to close up again out of the chicane. No, that's dropped off again. And these... Right. Manny Steiner, a bit further forward, is defending hard against the Juicer Carpenter.
So, yeah,
we did have a fight forming between Angela Scott and James Cowley, but I think James has had a moment and the traffic has dropped right off there.
Yeah, it was really dropped off thanks to that traffic. So we'll come back to Juicer Carpenter and Manny Steiner. This is fight for 7. Manny Steiner doing well up in this part of the order, but Deucer is going to be putting them under some pressure. And actually, is that Dan Steffens running ahead of these guys as well? Or it's one of the MP2 cars anyway. That is going to let them through. I don't think actually it's on the same lap as them. So it's just going to let them all get past. So, so that will be Dan Steffens, because I think they're about a lap down in the order.
And that's costing a Juicer a bit. She's had to sit behind Dan Stevens and is just caught in just the wrong place where you can't really make a move through. She's shown some good pace this season, Juicer. She's not been racing with us overly long. I think she came through, started joining oNiD events a few months back, and she's been working really hard and improving all the time. She's led races and is now really fighting hard for those top 10 positions. And we are seeing P2 and P3 both in for their pit stops.
I was just doing some maths. At the moment, I think Daniel Johansson is actually doing enough to take third overall in the LMGT3 class. But as you say, we are having some pit stops as Alfie Bevan currently in the pit lane, joined by James Cowley, who's, well, that's a little bit awkward. They're both right together in their pit boxes, and it has meant that Cowley's, actually, now Alfie has lost some time as they're both kind of getting in each other's way. So that's not been too helpful for Alfie, because that has given him a few extra seconds there to serve in the pit stop, as the invisible team had to get him on the air jacks and facing the right direction. So he has eventually got out the pit lane, but it'll be interesting to see if that gap has gone up to Zach Silver once Silver decides to come in for their pit window, because there is still now 19 minutes and about 30 seconds to go. Here's Silver leading the way almost by half a lap now.
Everyone in the top 10 pretty much has come in for that pit stop.
Yeah, because Hine out behind Alfie. Adusa Carpenter hasn't come in because they're sitting in third. Tomlinson second now in this race. So obviously all those top 3 have to come in, and here he comes.
Now this is going to be... Dan Tomlinson will assume the lead of the race. Oh, actually no, he's a long way back. He might be there briefly, but I suspect he and Carpenter are probably due a stop as well.
Yes, so it'll be interesting to see what Kiesig does here as well. With obviously Brown's been pretty dominantly in the lead of this race, so we'll see if Kiesig's been able to save it all and come up through the order. But I think they are quite far back from Brown after what the Wild LMGT3 class has had.
The average for the stops, all about 27, 28 seconds, with the exception of Angela Scotti, who somehow managed to do a 22.5. So we know how good Scotti is with her fuel calculations. If she saved enough to be able to get to the end, she could make places up here.
Yes. It's put them ahead of Cowley. Actually, they were ahead of Cowley anyway. That's the thing. Even though with that spare time, it has meant they've obviously caught up a lot again back to Hind. The gap's now actually only 6 seconds between Hind and themselves, and then it's a further 11 seconds to Alfie Bevan at the front of the pit field. As Silver has come back out onto the circuit and is about actually 7 seconds ahead of Cowley. No, Bevan, I mean. So it's about where it was, maybe a little bit more of a gap than we saw when they came into their pit boxes. So Alfie's got a lot of work to do if he wants to try and take the lead of this race. As Idusa Carpenter leads the way as we wait for them to come in for their stop.
Does indeed. Right, for some reason I'm showing that Alfie hasn't made a pit stop, which is a neat trick because we watched him do it. But he is Zach Silver as well, actually. Doing that extra lap saved him about 4 seconds worth of fuel of stop time.
Also, I just saw a message pop up, penalty Hearn, so I assume Andy Hearn's been abused the track limits a little bit too much.
Yeah, we have got a drive-through penalty for Andy, so that's going to improve his mood, I'm sure.
Or was he spinning in the pit lane? I don't know if he's pitted yet.
That's a good point. I think it would probably have been that. Let's have a quick look. And he's just done a pit stop, and I think came off the limiter a bit early.
Yeah, so Andy Hearn's going to have to make another visit to the pit lane, which not a great way to end the season. But Idusa Carpenter now comes in from the race lead, so we're back to usual running now. Zach Silver will take the lead back in the class. Actually, Alfie's closed that gap up a lot, 6 seconds there, nearly into the 5-second marker. So I don't know if that's because of the LMGT3 traffic or just Alfie's pace so far, but that gap has come down pretty quick in the space they've come into the pit lane.
Right. Zach did that extra lap. So his tyres may still be a little bit colder, but taking a little bit more time to get heated up for this final sprint of the night. It's basically a 50-minute sprint race. And Alfie has a lot of traffic between them, but he can make his way forward from here. But have they got their fuels right?
There's a car from the inside there as well. I don't know who that was.
That was Dan Stevens, I suspect. He's the last yellow flag I've got. Let's have a look, see if it decides to work.
It'll be through Piratella, yes, I think it will be. So
just
going to hit the gravel,
right.
bump,
Yeah.
bump.
That's it. I suspect that's going to be some very unfriendly suspension.
Yeah, and luckily gets it to the inside of the corner just before Tyler Hammer comes through. And
pop on board. Yeah. That's not going to be the nicest feeling car in the world.
Yeah, so I think we might see Dan Steffens in just a moment here. Is he going to come back into the pit lane? He is indeed.
I'm not shocked by that, I've got to admit. But
yeah, no, me neither, surprisingly.
Right, I'm having a look around for a fight because we're in that post-pit phase where everyone's spread out slightly.
Yeah, I think our biggest chance of fight at the moment is with Silver and Alfie, because it's 5.5 seconds is the gap now. It is coming down still quite a bit. Obviously, Ben's bossing the front of the LMGT3 field. He said he wanted a strong finish to this championship, and he's doing that.
Oh, we do. Oh, we had a fight, but it was actually... I thought we had a fight, but it was actually Tyler Hammer coming into the pits.
So, you know I said about Kiesig fuel saving. Has he come in yet?
Let's have a quick look.
Because he's currently leading the LMGT3 class.
He has not pitted in yet.
So obviously Kiesig has been saving some fuel then. Usual running from Christian Kiesig in terms of fuel saving. There you go. The one lit up dot on the side of his car notifies us that he is the race leader for the LMGT3 class and actually is coming into the pit lane now. Yeah. So the gap, 35 seconds to Ben Brown. This could be quite close. What were we saying the times were for the pit window?
Right, about 27 seconds stopped. So that's going... So Ben Brown's going to retake
Ben's
the lead.
Going to get it.
but I think Kiesig might have jumped up to P2. He might slot in between Ben Brown and Chris Downing here.
We'll wait and see with bated
That's
breath.
a very quick stop.
Yeah, ban 10 seconds, 9 seconds back. This is going to be close. 8 seconds. The gap as he's going to come across the line. It's annoying now because it's showing me Dan Steffens, but no, well, as he's going to get back on the power. I think it is going to still be Ben that's going to get out ahead here. You see him come through the frame in this next. Yeah, there he goes.
Just ahead there.
So
it's a massive amount he's leapt up. Kiesig was only stopped for 12 seconds.
So obviously, probably could have done a few more laps on whatever fuel they still had in the tank there. But yeah, but luckily for if your name's Ben Brown, it does mean that he's had the pace so far to kind of hold off Kiesig and his fuel-saving magic, and it does mean that Ben Brown is looking potentially at a first win of the season. He's had 2 second places and a third so far this season, and then followed by the 2 DNFs. So first win of the season, not a bad way to wrap up the championship in the end. But obviously was hoping for a lot more, but just, yeah, it kind of fell apart in that mid part of the season for him.
Key factor here, Ben Brown has about a lap's extra fuel over Kiesig. So Kiesig, we know, is very precise with his fuel usage. He's probably got exactly the amount it says he needs to finish the race. Ben Brown's got enough fuel to push.
Yeah.
So if Kiesig wants the win, he has to push now.
Yes.
But so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. You can see him in the background there, actually. I think just for a second. You can see his lights. So the gap isn't much between them. There he is, just in the background. So, interesting.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds just between these two. And the Mercs look strong around here.
Yeah, no, they have. I mean, obviously, Blomqvist and Brown, well, gallops away up the road from Kiesig in the early stages of this race. So it does look like the ball's in Ben's court at the moment, and it is, yeah. I don't know what Kiesig could do from here, but just because it just doesn't seem like he's had the overall pace to take it to the Mercedes at this venue. But the gap 2.3, we'll just keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
But it's gonna take quite a bit for them to come back at him, as there goes one of the MP2 runners coming past. Mentioning that as well, though, Silver's done a good job of getting through this next set of traffic. Last time we were looking at him, gap about 5.5. For a brief moment there, it was up to 7 seconds again. So Silver are actually extending this out now and looking good for a first win of the season, maybe.
He is, yeah. But he did have a win on track last season. Lost it in the stewards' room. I think he definitely wants a win that he gets to keep this time round.
Well, nothing comes to mind, at least at the moment, that why it could be taken away from him. He's actually driven quite a clean race.
Yeah, I mean, he had an off on his own on lap 1. After that, he's basically he's kept his nose clean, and he's been fighting, but he's not been getting involved in any incidents by the looks of it.
And obviously, I know we were talking, that you guys were talking about in the voice chat earlier. There's been I don't know what the event is, maybe you can explain, but there has been an Imola event on that some people have taken part in, and it seems to have helped them coming into this round, just having a little bit of experience.
I think that's the LMU weekend events, the ones run by 397 themselves.
Oh, okay.
So the enduro events.
So obviously, yeah, Zach's been spending some time doing that. Obviously, he's coming to this round with a little bit more recent experience around this venue, and it really seems to have paid off. He's absolutely flying. Actually, although the gap has come down again, 5.8.
Yeah. He's starting to run into traffic, and he's sat behind Johnny Ashley, so he'll be very careful at this point. I'm going to watch to make sure that he doesn't actually murder Johnny and cause the Discord to get moved.
I was going to say, for the sake of us all, Zach, please get past. Okay, there we go. No, it's all right. He's got through. It's okay, everyone.
We did have a yellow flag for Zach that I assume was just an off, but I was going to play just to embarrass him, but I'll leave it. We have had one for Reducer Carpenter. So let's have a quick look.
So they're down in 8th, actually, he's still only 4 seconds back from Steiner. So let's see what's happened. Coming down the start-finish straight through turn 1. There's actually, is that Johnny up ahead of them? Well, anyway, down the inside. Well, actually it's Kiesig, I think, and has actually run into the rear left-hand quarter of the Porsche there. So that's obviously what's happened. They've rejoined the circuit though in the end, and they've done it pretty cleanly. So I think they only lost out there, I think, to Steiner, who's now up into 7th overall in this race, and it's dropped a Carpenter down to 8th in the LMP2 class, the last actually on the lead lap.
I think that was bad luck more than anything. It was at some point the Porsche has to turn in there, and I think it was just a bit of bad luck that the Oracle was there coming into that gap alongside when they did.
Yeah, and I just want to point out the gap is nearly within 4 seconds between Silver and Bevan now, and actually it is. Oh, actually massively is. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. So what's happened there? This is dropping quickly, Ben. He's got through. Zach Silver's got past whoever that was, but it's been held up massively by one of the BMW M4s. I can't quite tell which one of them that is, but the gap, I think he just lost 2 seconds to not Ben Brown, Alfie Bevan there. 3.4 seconds is now the gap, and I was going to say, well, this is going to be a little bit tricky now. We're coming into the dying stages of the race. Still 5 seconds for Alfie to find, but then just in a magic of moments, it's now nearly down to 2 seconds. 3.3, 3.6, actually slowly opening up again. I think as Alfie caught someone in the wrong corner at the exit of the corner there.
Alfie has cleared the traffic though. They've got one GT3 between them. I don't know if you're seeing the track map, but I've got on my screen. Unfortunately, I can't get it up on the stream itself, but we can just see the one GT3 in between them, and I'm not sure who it is. That's Tyler Hammer between them. And he's going to do his best not to hold them up. Alfie jinks to the right and darts around the Ferrari. And now it's a straight fight. They've got a big old gap of time ahead of them for the lead of this race.
Yeah, so Alfie needs to try and pull 3.7 seconds from somewhere. Zach Silver is in lead of this race. It looks pretty secure, the championship, let's be honest, for Alfie at the moment. He's 2nd and Cowley's 5th. Angela's 4th. He's ahead of everyone he needs to be ahead of. So really, he might as well fight for the race win now, which he is going to do.
It's like, yeah, he's winning the championship. It's like, he wants that win. He wants that win, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's not going to help. Zach looked a little bit offline there, run very deep out of turn 15 through Grande Alta. So I think that might have lost them maybe about half a tenth there. Gap now 3.3. A lot of squeezing going on here in this area. And but a very forceful move by Andy Hearn. He knew he was in his rights, and sadly, Adusa Carpenter's got caught up in that. Very aggressive defence there by Josep Nazarian, and obviously, I think the BMW was alongside it. I think he had the right to leave it on as late on the brakes as he did there, and it's just got a little bit awkward between them all.
Yeah. Well, I went to that thinking, there's a battle going on there. Instead, we got an incident. It all works out. There's always something to watch.
I mean, there's something to look at. Yeah. Sadly for Adusa Carpenter, though, it has now dropped them 20 seconds. Oh no, about 20 seconds back from Steiner now. So that, I think Carpenter's going to be it's going to be pretty secure 8th place as it goes. So that's
Alex Wood's still about a lap behind them. I think Dan Stevens and Charlie Morgan were caught up in those early incidents.
Yeah, actually Morgan maybe more, because Morgan's back into the pit lane again.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many pit stops has Charlie done now. That's his I think that's his 2nd pit stop he's just finishing. That was for 1 minute and 5, so that's clearly damage being repaired there.
Also, we're into the 2 seconds now. We're at 2.9 back to Zach Silver. So this gap is coming down. This is getting close between these two. Alfie's pushing, as you can see through there. I don't know how much he took a hell of a lot of cover through there. I don't know how he did that, but anyway.
If I try and do that, it launches me off into space.
Yeah, I'm in those apartment buildings over there. If I hit the cover, it's literally I don't know how he does it. Anyway, 2.8 there now as they come onto the straight. So Alfie really is closing this down. Silver is going to be under a little bit of pressure, but he's running out of time, is Alfie, because there's one thing to catch up, and he's then got to get past. And now there's only 3 minutes and about 40 seconds now to go in the last round of the season.
3 laps, would you say there? About a minute and a half lap, isn't it? So
yeah, yeah, roughly, yeah. I think you'd get 3 laps, yeah.
Alfie's pushing 2.6.
I mean, I don't know if you know, where's the next big gaggle of traffic in terms of these two? Because if they come across,
Zach is lodged behind a set of GT3 cars now.
And there's Nazarian. Nazarian obviously just been involved in that incident with Andy Hearn. He's gotten out of the way, and there goes Zach Silver through. Actually, not really. There wasn't much help holding up there, so that's going to help.
Cost Alfie more respect. He's catching him just
although,
the right place.
Yeah, it has. I was going to say for a second there, he was 1.7 seconds back, but there you go, 2.1, and has eventually got through. But this isn't going to help Zach Silver as he comes through Ferrante Alta. There's one of the McLarens running up ahead. I think it's Chris Downing, because I don't think it's the McLaren United Autosport livery. Yeah, it is Chris Downing. So he's going to get past the 3rd place car in the LMGT3 class. Gap still 2.1 though. Alfie hasn't really closed up through that part, but if anything, it's stabilised. So as they come onto the straight to go potentially onto their second to last lap of the race, it's 2.1 seconds is the gap. This is going to get a little bit sweaty for Zach Silver, isn't it? It's coming down quite quickly, but is it going to come down quick enough?
It is a bit. They've got a LMP2 ahead of them, and then there's who I suspect would be a juicer. I'm not entirely sure there. It looks like a. And after that, there's a gaggle of 3 GT3 cars that they're going to have to negotiate. And if they cost Zach time, that will give Alfie a chance to close up. That will make it a very tasty last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's been quite clear at the moment, because obviously the other the car ahead is an LMP2 at the moment, so it's given Silver a little bit of breathing room. The gap's it's actually staying around that 2-second mark. It's basically stuck there at the moment. Not really much happening either way as a yellow flag comes out. But this is going to be close. I wouldn't want to say who I think is going to win at the moment, because the gap, again, it's Acqua Minerale. That's where Alfie's really strong. He closes the gap so much there. 3 tenths just through that one section of the circuit. Now down to 1.7 seconds. And now Zach is going to have a little bit of fun here, because he is stuck right behind one of the Porsches. He's got down the inside past Christian Kiesig. There he goes through on past. 1.2 seconds is now the gap. So now as he comes down the hill into the corner, Adusa Carmenter's there, which will give them a nice tow onto the start-finish straight. They're going to catch Andy Hearn, I think, just at the right moment to slip down the middle of them. So actually hasn't cost them too much time. 1.4 seconds now as we come onto the final lap of this race. The only thing is Adusa Carmenter going to come back? I hope Adusa Carmenter doesn't come back at them, but we'll see if she does. As we come into turn 1 again, for the final time, Zach Silver behind the Mercedes, and he's going to hold him up.
That's the GT3 leader.
It is. Ben Brown's going to slightly hold him up. 7 tenths is now the gap as we come on to the final part of this race. But Adusa Carmenter still the car between Alfie and Zach Silver as we'll go through Villeneuve for the final time. Up towards Sosa now. Turns the car in, but can easily overdo it through here. But Silver's done a good enough job. He's absorbing the pressure. 8 tenths, 9 tenths, it's slowly opening up again. There is Alfie Bevins, he's past the Adusa Carpenter now, so as we 0 time on the clock remaining, we'll make our way through the final parts of this circuit. We're about into the middle sector now. One of the cars just getting out of the way onto the gravel as we'll come into the final couple of bends. 6 tenths is now the gap into Acqua Minerale. We know Alfie's quick through there. Now as we make our way up towards Ferrante Alta, it's nearly within half a second of one another. It is within half a second of one another, but Alfie's going to have to send it here. He's going to have to send it into Ravazza as they make their way down the hill. Alfie's tucked into the slipstream. He's going to be looking any way he can to get past. He's going to have to be a second and a half if he wants to. He's so close onto the brakes. He's all over the rear of Zach Silver. As they get on the parallel, it's going to be a drag race to the line. Here comes Alfie Bevins in the slipstream. It's going to be Zach Silver for his first win of the season, I think, just about as they come across the line. Here they go. It's going to be side by side between the pair of them. Zach Silver's going to take it, I think, by a matter of tenths.
What was the gap at the line? That 20.
Oh.
Good grief. that was within a tenth at the line. What a way to finish the season. Zach Silver comes across the line to take the win. And I think he's had his donuts there on the exit that we missed. Have a look. I think Ben Brown has made it across the line to take the win in the final GT3 race of the season.
Yeah, also we should mention that Alfie Bevins is obviously the LMP2 champion, outscoring the rest of the people that had a chance of the championship. Brown takes the win in the LMGT3 class. Obviously, Keating already championing that class. Downing's done enough to secure second, and I believe, yes, actually, I'm pretty confident in saying that Daniel Johansson would have jumped above John Metcalf in the LMGT3 class as well. Metcalf finishing 25th, so that's about 1, 2, 3. That's about 13th in the LMGT3 class. So if I go to my quick calculator, that will be, he scored 9 points. Nazarian finishing 4 will have scored 30, so that will be about 21 points. And there was only 17 separating them. So yeah, John Metcalf will have been jumped right to the end of the championship there by Daniel Johansson to take third overall in the LMGT3 standings.
Right, good news, Johnny actually survived. The Discord will remain alive.
Hooray!
What a race at the end there. That was fantastic.
No, it was indeed. It was, it really just came down to that final start finish straight, and Alfie just didn't have enough to take it away from Zach Silver. There you go.
Hang on.
Actually,
no, we'll get there eventually.
We'll get there eventually. There we go. So actually, it was just within it was half a second as they came across the start-finish line in the end between Zach Silver and Alfie Bevins. Jacob Hine rounds out the podium in third. Angela Scott, James Cowley, and Dan Tomlinson. They gave it a go, but not good enough to be champions this time. They've finished 4th, 5th, and 6th. Manny Steiner in 7th. 8th goes the way of Adusa Carpenter. 9th goes the way of Alex J. Wood. And rounding out our top 10 is Dan Steffens, 2 laps down from our leading pack. Charlie Morgan is our last LMP2 car in 11th. And then the winner in the LMGT3 class, first of the season, Ben Brown. A great result for him. Christian Kiesig finishes the season strong with a 2nd place in the class, and Chris Downing, last time's winner, rounds it out in 3rd. Daniel Johansson will take 3rd overall in the championship and 4th in the race. Running out the top 5 in the LMGT3s will be Tyler Hammer, a great result for the end of the season. Then 17th is Elliot Lewis, 18th overall Johnny Ashley, 19th has gone the way of Petty Jelinek, and 20th is Christopher Bell.
Hang on just a sec. Get against the if you bear with me half a second. There we go.
And in 21st overall, we have Mateus Fusken, Andy Hearn, who had that drive-through penalty, and Josep Nazarian, who themselves were involved in a little bit of a late race incident with a couple of cars. Christian Schlink finishes 24th. John Metcalf, after an early race crash, only ended up in 25th at the end of the race. Leon Visbaras DNF'd. Dean Smith, we lost from the race as well. Evan Blomqvist, obviously, we saw DNF'd while trying to make their way back to the pit lane. Max Farrell's had an off as well. Frank Vevic, we saw off through Acra Minerali, down in 30th. And then Matt Townsend, obviously, we lost on lap 1 of this race when they spun in front of the field through Villeneuve.
They did indeed. Right, bear with me. Half a sec. There we go. Oh, what a race that was.
Yeah, no, it was very... Yes, there was a lot happening.
Yeah, there was a bit of chaos and an absolute sprint to the finish. That's the kind of thing we get round here, really. But great night's racing and a great way to round out the season, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that was... Yeah, it was good. I think that was a really strong... It was a good... I think it's just been a really strong season. Thinking back, I don't think we've really had a race where like, there's nothing happening here.
Absolutely.
It's all been glued to your screen stuff.
Yeah, it has been a banger. Well, I think we're looking forward to the next one. But speaking of next ones, we are back again tomorrow night. It is Scotty and Aidan on comms duty for the Audi TT Cup. We are doing our season finale around Club Motorsport, a fictional circuit, just for because why not? Wednesday we are back with the SimHound Academy in well, technically it's round 6, but it's sort of also round 5 because because round 2 has been delayed to the end of the season. So it's all gone a bit weird on that one, but we will be back in for another night's racing in the LMP3s and GT3s. Thursday we are back with iRacing in the Club Championship, and I am trying to quickly check where we are going to be for that because I didn't in advance and I really should, which is going to be around Red Bull Ring, around the full Grand Prix layout, so that'll be entertaining in MX5s. And that'll round up the weekend, and obviously Sunday we will be back for the season finale of the Back in the Game Championship, which will be going to Watkins Glen, which is another amazing track. So we're serving you up some good ones this week.
Yeah, definitely.
So we look forward to see you back. I think we're having another commentary reshuffle for next season, so I'm not. So I think you're going to be back on Mondays in Scotty with Scotty in the new year if you're around, Tom. But it's been a pleasure.
Oh, no, it's been
this
great.
championship.
Yeah, it's been good fun. I've enjoyed this.
And we look forward to seeing what it brings next. There's also going to be some entertaining announcements for Christmas socials coming out in the next 24 hours. So keep an eye out on that. And you might see some fun things pop up on the feed for you to get involved in over the holiday period, while we take a break from usual championships. But in the meantime, it has been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you for whatever we have next.
Yeah, no, and we'll both see you in the new year.
Absolutely. In the meantime, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll catch you in the new year.
Merry Christmas and goodbye.